Hey y'all, what's happening? So y'all are gonna do some work with me. Don't believe me? Yeah, see? Alright, so I'm going to type, but I'm also going to talk. So just know that I am not like ignoring you. I'm just trying to do what every great mom does. I'm going to multitask. Alright, so we've got a full moon coming up, right? And it's in the beautiful sign of Taurus, normally ruled by the sign of, or not sign, planet Venus. And what's beautiful about this is that this is all about what is it that you want to cultivate in your relationships, right? Especially because we're in the time of Scorpio, right? And Scorpio is all about going deep, delving deeply, but it's also about removal, upheaval. I like to think of Scorpio energy as the phoenix, right? It's also known as the death card in tarot, but it's all about like really letting go in order for you to be that much more dynamic in how you move. So, with the full moon in Taurus, which is the polar opposite of Scorpio, it's asking us, how do you want to cultivate a new relationship with somebody or to something, right? Examine your approach. We're in a time where it's about digging deep, it's about really asking yourself the hard questions. Have you truly healed from some of these past traumas that you think you've done the work for, but it seems to be popping up more, right? So are the weeds that are popping up actually not fruitful, right? Because even weeds have medicine. Dandelion is considered a weed. Ivy is considered to be a weed, but there's benefit, there's healing in both of those. So are some of those weeds or some of those roots healing and healthy, or are they actually choking and kind of invasive? Time to let them go. Ask yourself how have you been aerating the soil, because Taurus is an earth sign, right? So what are you rooted in? What needs to come up and breathe? And is the soil that you're trying to create a new relationship with yourself, within yourself, with other people, with the new things, new habits that perhaps you're trying to kind of cultivate, are they coming up in like strong, fertile, ripe soil? I also want to make it very clear that during this time, be very, very, very careful about what you are speaking into existence. A friend of mine and I just discussed this. Shout outs to Deja. Go check her out at Mental Lux on Instagram. Great product line. This is the time where you got to be really careful about what you're speaking into existence, because everybody's tongue is like a Midas touch, meaning anything that you speak into existence right now is likely to come true. The problem with having that capability, anything that you say is likely to happen. Now, does that say that this is the only time of the year where that happens? No, but it's definitely heightened when you're trying to actually cultivate something new. So between now and what I'm picking up between late February, early March, be mindful of that. All right. So, Taurus rules the throat, right? So if you're finding that your tonsils are a little bit swollen, if you're finding that you're having a stiff neck, if you're finding that you are coming down with some laryngitis, especially because the temperatures are dropping here in the United States, if you're finding that you have some blockages within your throat chakra, if you're noticing that when it comes to like some people, especially those who identify as women, right, you're getting some skin tags, like some moles that are popping up around here. They're hereditary for me in terms of like moles, so I'm not tripping. But maybe you're noticing some things like that, signifying some dampness, right? We call that dampness in Chinese medicine. This is the time for you to think about your diet. Taurus is known for having more, so whereas Aries tends to get more broader in the shoulders and like this area when they put on weight, Taurans tend to get more rounded faces, and then they tend to have more of the earth belly. So be mindful of that if you're trying to be mindful of your body and your physique. And they tend to actually retain water. That's actually a thing with the sign of, not the sign, but the planet Venus. Venus is actually a sign that um, causes retention of things. Um, Water, but also gas, right? Because even though it's not a gas giant, there is a lot of methane on Venus. So if you're finding yourself to be a little gassy lately, a little flatulent, be mindful of that. It could be a dietary thing, and you may need to increase some probiotics, or maybe start thinking about eliminating some things from your diet. That's your food intake, right? Your physiological diet, but also think about what you're actually taking in auditorily. Think about what you're taking in visually. Think about what you're taking in terms of your skincare products, right? We don't tend to think about the fact that we actually have absorbed through our skin. We digest things through our skin in a sense, right? You metabolize it, right? So if you're not sure where some of these, some of the disease may be happening in your body, consider those spaces to get started with. You're going to notice this is a time where people are very staunch and very succinct in their communications and with their beliefs. Try not to take anything too personally. If you're finding that you're being a little headstrong, or that you are needing to navigate things from a space of being a little bit more like you're feeling like your timing is off, try to be a little bit more compassionate with yourself. This is a period where Taurus in its resolved state is very forthright, it's very passionate, but it also knows how to turn anything into gold. And so if you play your cards right and actually take a beat, don't be hot tempered, and find that balance between comfort and not complacency, and being able to know when it's time to rev it up a bit and actually go into work mode, this will be a really great time for you, and it will pay off for you handsomely in the spring. So whatever you sow right now, connections, making moves, be intentional, be strategic. Every seed counts. Every seed counts right now. I cannot stress that enough. Every seed counts. So every seed that you plant, be intentional. It's not about how many seeds you're sowing right now. It is about, okay, I've already started to reap some. I need to be very intentional about where I place this next one, to make sure that it actually has room to grow and to expand, to make sure it's not going to choke the next one, or those that I've already planted that are already starting to reap a harvest. Also ask yourself during this period, what's my relationship to my softer side, right? I know I'm talking a lot about cultivation, but part of cultivation is nurturing. So what is nurturing you? So that way you can nurture not only yourself, but those seeds that you are actually putting into the ground right now. What is your relationship to these seeds, right? So yes, you're cultivating them, so that's part of it, right? You're the planter of the seed. But are you supposed to be the nurturer? Maybe you planted this seed for somebody else to come behind and actually reap the benefits of, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're a failure or that it was a waste of seed. It was meant for you to be the plug on that one, right? Maybe you were not meant to sow the seed, but to hand it off to somebody else. Maybe that's not your seed to sow. I would encourage you to take your ego out of it, because Taurus also asks us to, come outside of our ego. Taurus, it's the bull-headed. Sometimes you can get a little bit too with that fixed energy, right? Like fixated on, no, this is mine. Maybe it's not yours. Maybe it landed in your lap because you know the perfect person to actually receive it. Maybe this is also a time for you to consider whether or not you are where you need to be as far as home and hearth. Taurus is ruler of the second house, which is personal finances and acquisitions of property, right? So maybe this is a good time for you to start looking at the market and seeing maybe we need to pull the plug on, for some home ownership stuff. Maybe this is a time for me to sell my current house, or if you're looking to see if you can, get better rates on your equity, this is a great time to start looking into that. This is also a beautiful time to start looking at the stock market. I know we just had an election here in the U.S. that, depending on where you are, politically, you may see it one way or another, but I will say this this is a good time to start looking at investments and where you want to place your money. All right. Keep your gazes forward. I hope this helps. New stuff dropping, new opportunities to come see me in person. I will be posting those here soon. But love and kisses. I hope y'all are doing well.